I think there are several factors that make for a successful unit. Number one, I think the person who's running it it's important to have the right person in the job. I think you need a person with an attractive personality, not only knowledge, not only abilities and skills, but something that's attractive, that attracts people to that person. And not necessarily, I don't mean that ego inflating, but I mean that it's almost like something coming through the person. There's something that people trust at all different levels. I'll give you an example of what I mean. I had a lot of repair work to do in the counseling unit. It was seen for many, many, many years as a place that treated only low bottom, that you throw a low bottom chronic drunk and send them in there when they no longer could enable him and deny him anymore. Or it was a sanctuary for cops that were in trouble on the job in some way, shape, or form, and they would run and hide there under the cloak of alcoholism or whatever and get treatment and not lose their jobs. And I'm not going to say that didn't happen. Here and there, I'm sure that did happen. People didn't trust it because there was a time where internal affairs units and outside units could actually get information from that program. And when I came in there, I was, because of my background in education and schooling, I really got a legal opinion that gave me the right to implement Title 42 of the Code of Federal Regulations. No information was given out at all. So, but the big thing I think that I did was a lot of training. I think education and training in the department. I used to go out to precincts and speak. I had some of my staff do that. The guys who were more charismatic and again, attractive, they'd speak. I then got myself inserted into the executive level training programs, captains and above. All of them had to attend in-service training programs. I used to go to them and I was able to get access. They gave me an hour of their time and I would make presentations on supervisory intervention, that they should not be diagnosticians, that they should be observing behavior, documenting it, informing the officer, and then referring to find out what's really wrong. So what I eventually did over time was I developed a counseling unit, which was alcohol only, into more of an open catchment basis for referral in connection with behavior. And if we saw somebody that didn't have an alcohol problem, but it was psychological, boom, send it to the right place. So I did it by default. It became the employee assistance program. So what was important? I think the leader was important. The person in the chair was very important. I think having a connection to the top was very important. Now, when Monsignor Dunn was the director of that program, I'm talking about the police department now. When Monsignor Dunn was the director of the program, he had connections to the top. He had power. His power was, some of it was mystical because people believed he was connected with the bishop and the cardinal, Spellman and the other cardinal. So a lot of cops were afraid of him. And he was able to get things done and push things through that other people might not have been able to do. My situation, very similar. Again, by default, I wound up in a situation with a brother, my oldest brother, who held every single rank in the police department, every rank. He was the chief of the department, and uniform chief of the department. And then he became the first deputy commissioner, which is like the manager of the agency. So I would, at times, understand me when I tell you this, it wasn't always this simple. At times I would, if I needed something for the good of the unit, I would go to him. One time in particular, I'll just tell you a quick story. I thought we needed an extra car because we were transporting police officers to rehabs. We needed what they called a nondescript car, a regular street car, and they had them. So I, with data, compiling a lot of data and statistics based on productivity and performance and need, I put together a paper. I put together a little, a presentation on paper, a white paper, whatever you want to call it, to the first deputy commissioner, to him. Now this is coming from me through channels to my brother, but it's all formal stuff, right? So I'm asking for the other car and I'm justifying why we need it. Goes up the line, my boss approves it, the next level approves it, the chief of personnel approves it, gets up to my brother, first step, disapproves it. And it goes back down through channels. My boss calls me on the phone, Jimmy, your brother disapproved this. I thought it was in. I thought you made the call. I said, I didn't make any call. This is justified. I just sent it through. Jeepers, Jimmy, you know what this looks like in my judgment? All of this kind of stuff, you know. So then I pick up the phone and call my brother directly and said, hey, listen, you know, we really need the car. That was a legitimate, and I make my appeal on the phone and he says, resubmit it. And we got the car. So what's the point? The point I'm getting at is who's ever running that program, if they have some degree of close relationship with the hierarchy, the program's usually going to be more successful. The other thing is important is this, trust with the unions. We were labor management. I was management, obviously, as a lieutenant, but I had a good relationship. I developed and cultivated a relationship with the unions because they didn't trust the program either. If a cop got referred there under a sanctuary syndrome and really didn't belong there, and I didn't accept him, and the consequences fell as they were supposed to fall, and he got in trouble and jammed up, then they would react to me, getting angry that you're not covering for this guy. Well, I tried to run a straight shop, but I didn't ask other people to do what I wasn't willing to do. And not only did I make presentations that I think were factually accurate, but I had the personal experience. And somebody else taught me this a long time ago, and I always held on to this. When I made a presentation to chiefs, to captains, et cetera, about the program and how to make a referral, I was telling chiefs of boroughs how to make a referral to the counseling unit. When I was doing that, at the end, I always wait till the end. At the end, I'd say, I know, you men have had experience with this in your own way, and I'm sure you have preconceived notions about the program. Let me tell you something. The program saved my life, saved my family. I got captured by that program 11 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was. It saved my life. It saved my job. I was going out of the job. So I had nothing in 1969. 1980, 81, 82, 83, as I'm going through the program, I'm bringing all of my experience into the workplace.